Hi friends, it's Diana here today, and today we're going to be sewing up the sweet pea bonnet. This bonnet has a few different options. You can just do the simple version, you can do the one with the little cap version, and you can do the one with the ruffle version around the brim. It is super cute and really a quick sew that is just perfect for like the spring and summertime for a little baby. So I cannot wait to get started. Let's do it. All right, let's get started. I'm doing the reversible version with the cap front here. So I've got my outer, which gonna be my main. These are my two mains, and then I've got them mirrored to each other. So you can't really tell with the red, but they were cut wrong sides together. I've got that middle piece for each one, and then I'm gonna be making the binding ties, and then I've got my cap front. So I'm gonna grab first, and I'm gonna do the same for the outer and the inside, like the reversible. So I'm gonna put this aside, and I'm going to start by placing, I'm gonna start with this right here, one of the cap, and I'm going to grab the middle piece, and I'm gonna start at the top, and I'm gonna face them right sides together, and I'm going to sew around it. And I'm gonna do the same step to the lining piece, which is really the other side, the reversible other side. Once I piece them together here, I'm going to sew them with a straight stitch. I'm back stitch in the front and back stitch in the back, and do the same for that one. Remember, this is right sides together, and I'm gonna start here at the front, go all the way down, and just kind of pivot as I go around the curve. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sew both of those right there. All right, at the beginning, I'm doing a back stitch, and I'm going a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm actually using the side panel as on the top because the middle panel has more ease. So you want to make sure that you're easing it in, but you want to make sure that the two pieces the two raw edges are touching, and it's not like out and I'm not catching it. So you got to keep an eye on that. So go ahead and go slowly, and let's. Okay, now that that's done, using either pinking shears if you have them, but if you don't, you can just cut little triangles, with your scissors or with your little snips, but make sure you don't cut the thread. The reason why we cut these little triangles is so that because it's curved, this will help the fabric to allow it to curve without it warping the look. It'd be like too tight or whatever. Pinking shears would come really handy here, but you would think that I would have some. I don't. So I actually need to get some. Do you have pinking shears? Once you're done clipping that seam allowance, you can go ahead and steam this allowance towards the back, towards the center. And this, I do have a ham. So if you have a ham, that makes it easier to steam curved seams because it's kind of rounded. It's good for sleeves, but it comes in handy for these little things too. Once I steam this over, we're gonna go over to the sewing machine. I'm gonna go to the sewing machine and top stitch from the outside. I'm gonna top stitch here, making sure I'm holding it taut to open it so I don't get any creases or anything. I know this right here, this fabric has like the shade of the baseball, so it kind of looks like a crease, but it's just the shade of the baseball. And I'm gonna do the same thing to my other side, my liner. Okay, so we finished this side, so we're gonna do the same exact thing on the other side. So this is the top of the hat here. So we're gonna grab that top of the hat and place it right sides together to the other side of that middle piece and do the same thing. go all the way around, sew it, clip, and top stitch, and do the same thing for the liner and outer. All right, so if you're doing the cap version, which I am, I went ahead and added a little bit of interfacing to the wrong side of my lining because I want it to have be a little bit more sturdy. Then I'm gonna go ahead and face them together and sew the rounded raw edge, right sides together. All right, now I'm gonna do again the same thing that we did with the cap where we're trimming as triangles or pinking shears here at the front. Now I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over, give it a good steam, and then we'll go and top stitch it. I actually like to have a little bit of the red peeking through, so when I steam, I kind of steam it so that I can see a little bit of the red because I think that looks so cute. I'm gonna go top stitch that down. All right, if you're doing the little ruffle, you basically are going to be doing the same thing I just did where you put the two pieces together, sew around the outer, flip it over, top stitch, and then instead you will put in a gathering stitch on the inside of your ruffle, but mine is just little, so there's no gathering stitch on here, but you would put a gathering stitch on that and you would gather it to fit around the whole outer edge of your bonnet, the right side. The outer side, I'm sorry, right sides together. But like I said, I'm doing this version, so it's the same thing essentially, but a little bit different where we're still gonna have to find our half here. So we're gonna find that half, and we're gonna find our half here on our bonnet, the front half. I just kind of like to mark it with a little snip. You can mark it however you want to. Then we're gonna match up our halves, and this will just go straight. But if you were making the ruffle, then you would just be going all the way around with the gather. So you have to gather it to fit. But with the cap, we're just going straight right sides together. And we're gonna go ahead and baste this on. Oh, that's gonna be so super cute. While I'm over there doing that, I'm also going to prep my binding. And I did get some a binding bias tape maker set. So I'm getting ready to work with this. I haven't yet, so I'm not gonna try them this time. I'm just gonna do a hand by hand, but I'm excited to try these out. Let me know in the comments below if you use bias tape maker set or do you just do it by hand. If you're making it by hand, you're gonna fold it wrong sides together, your bias binding material. Then you're gonna fold those two sides in to the center. And then we're gonna fold on that crease. And you basically created some bias binding, double fold bias binding here. Okay, so what we wanna do is I'm blowing on it because it's really hot. On the end that's going to be finished, we're gonna bring these in like the quarters in like so. So that way, oops. And then that way when I fold it, it's got a corner there. And then we're gonna top stitch at 1/8 seam allowance. You could top stitch, I like to top stitch both sides, so I go down, over, and up, top stitch it down. I'm gonna do that with the other one as well. All right, let's go sew the whole up. When we get to the corner, I stop, leave the needle down, turn, go towards the corner, stop again, turn again, and then go forward. And here we have our little strap. For the cap, I'm just doing a basting stitch, so it's just a long straight stitch on my sewing machine. All right, so now we're gonna baste these straps to the bonnet. So we're gonna baste them about 3/8 of an inch away from the edge. I'm just gonna go over to my sewing machine and real quickly just do a basting stitch here. And then I'll come back to put it all together. All right, so they're basted. And I'm kind of gonna move them towards the inside because the next step I'm going to do is grab my lining or, you know, the other side of my bonnet, make sure they're right sides together, and I'm going to attach it. And so you don't want this strap to get caught anywhere. So I'm just gonna pin it here in the middle at the top of the head, kind of out of the way, just pin it out of the way, okay? And so then we're gonna fit the liner and the outer right sides together and match up those seams and match them up all the way around. Make sure you've got the front of the head facing the right way, which I didn't. So I gotta redo it. The good thing is one side is longer, the front of the head is longer, so it will be easy to be like, okay, that's not it. But just be careful. All the way down the front. Right here is where you will be sandwiching the cap or the ruffle if you are attaching the ruffle or the cap. Match up these lines here in the back, but you're going to leave a gap where you're gonna turn it around. So I'm probably gonna go leave this little gap here, and then I'll be able to turn my whole bonnet around afterwards. Right here at the strap, I like to go back and forth to reinforce that, especially with kids. You know, they are gonna pull on it, so I don't want them to rip it right out. All right, so now we can come around with scissors and trim the excess of the ties and the corners. And then we're gonna flip this around through that space that we left here and at the bottom. Pull out those corners and those ties. It really is looking super adorable, look at that. And now we're gonna go ahead and steam it all the way around. I'm making sure it looks good from both sides. So I'm steaming from both sides because mine is reversible. So like I want him to be able to wear it from the red side or the baseball side. So I'm making sure that it's all nice and flat on both sides. All right, now, if you are not, okay, so sizes 9 through 12 and on, we'll add some elastic here at the back. Now this is size 7, so I won't be doing that, but what you will do to add the elastic is you're going to create a casing by sewing a straight stitch here at the top between the two lines in the back, and you're gonna sew a straight stitch, and then you're going to attach elastic, and the elastic measurements are on the chart, on the pattern, and that elastic will bring this in a little bit for the bigger sizes, so it'll cup around the back. And then when we go back at top stitch, which is our last step, well, before putting snaps, we're gonna top stitch around the bottom, and so you will be encasing that elastic because you have this gap here. So you'll place the elastic inside here and baste it, and then top stitch to keep it inside there. So you'll have the little top stitch at the top and at the bottom, but I'm not doing that. So I'm just going to my sewing machine and top stitching around the whole outer edge of our cap. So not around the cap, but just around the bonnet. I'm sorry, I said cap, I meant bonnet. My goodness, look at this. It's adorable. All right, the next step would be to do the snaps, and you want to make sure that one snap goes from the front like so, and then the other snap comes from the back so that they can clip together. But I don't have my little nephew with me, so I don't really know how far down to do it. I don't want to choke him, but I also don't want him to be like too long. So this is where I'm gonna have to leave you. I'm going to put these in a little baggie and take them with me, and I'm gonna take the tool with me so I can do them when I do see him, because they're super simple to do. And we are done. My goodness. Here's one side, and if you flip it over, here is the other side. Adorable. All right, friends, we are done, and this turned out adorable. I love how this little brim looks right here and the little ties. I cannot wait to give it to my nephew. I also love the fact that it is fully reversible, so you can do like a whole different vibe on the other side, and you could wear it either way. I think it's super cute, and it was super quick. This will be perfect to give like in gifts too, because it's a quick little sew, but it like adds so much to it. It is adorable. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please come and like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Come share your makes with us on Facebook, because we'd love to see them, and follow along with our community as we all make different things to inspire each other. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.